Hello all, Rick here with a video looking into a kind of enigmatic vessel despite it featuring so heavily in Star Trek Lower Decks, that of the Parliament class. I say enigmatic because no two sources that I have read seem coherent on its exact purpose, with it being mentioned as both a dedicated engineering vessel based on the USS Vancouver, as well as a multi-role explorer and even a combat ship. So I'm going to assume that it's all true for the most part because it sounds like something Starfleet would do. Looking at you, Galaxy class. Starting with the behind-the-scenes origin. The craft was created for lower decks. The ship was made to look simply far more advanced than the aging USS Cerritos, showing what a hero ship of the 2380s era Starfleet might look like, considering the California class was deliberately not that. Therefore, it sought to continue the design elements seen in the Sovereign, Lunar, and contemporary cutting-edge vessels, while adding that basic geometry that lower decks featured so it fit alongside the look of the show. I have to say, it's definitely one of my favourite designs to emerge from the current era Star Trek, and I'd love to see a live-action version sometime, but for now, we're moving on to its in-universe properties. The Parliament class was originally birthed from the Lunar class program, and as such, has some similarities in designs as well as purpose. The vessel was designed to be a versatile cruiser that could undertake variable mission profiles, much like the Lunar class could. However, the Lunar was created with some adaptations in mind, such as non-humanoid crew accommodations and a larger foray into both science and defensive duties. This was not the case with the Parliament class, which was a more typical approach to starship design, featuring some new improvements of the time. This made it ideal for undertaking support and logistics missions, the sorts that the California class was originally designed for, and soon the Parliament was encroaching on the mission profile of the underdog workhorse of Starfleet. However, just as with the Lunar class performing well in roles beyond its intended one, the Parliament too could work well in an exploration cruiser role, defensive ship, and their comfortable interiors made them a popular choice as a diplomatic courier. The initial prototype, the USS Parliament NX-81590, was constructed at Utopia Planitia for extensive testing in 2380. However, some other sources suggest it was already in operation at least a decade before this. Over the next 3 years, 3 known shipyards were manufacturing the design, none of which were the overworked Utopia Planitia. These were the Lake Armstrong dry docks on Luna, Consolidated Fleet Yards of Teller Prime, and the Vega Zenith facilities in the Vega system. The vessel was designed with a very low profile in mind, with the exception of its oversized nacelles, and despite its grand size, its utilisation of space was highly efficient, not cramped like a Defiant, but so much of it was given over to dedicated inhabited zones. I guess this is a learning taken over from the Galaxy and even Crossfield Caverns designs which had come before. Additionally, it had enhanced structural integrity fields and a robust hull plating with additional thermal layers, so it was a sturdy vessel. The ship had some unique features, including a processing system that could self-replicate and repair damage, and a gravimetric demolition system. This latter one sounds rad as hell, but is essentially just an array that would set up around a hulk in space before it was subjected to graviton bombardment and collapsed into a smaller state, easier to dispose of. Could you use this as a weapon? Probably, but it would take some setup. It's more of a tool, but it goes to show the sort of specialty equipment the craft possessed. The secondary hull contained the main deflector array and planetary sensor suites, ideal for a class that would spend plenty of time in orbit of installations and planets. This is one of those vessels that is supposed to make an impression. The ship was 641 metres long, around 372 wide, but only about 115 tall, with a lot of that being due to the nacelles. It was only 11 decks, which gives it a very low profile, suggesting some Sovereign class thinking in making it defensive. Considering its duties were to have it ferrying cargo, people and teams around the Federation, it was equipped with powerful engines, both of warp and impulse variety. The ship could cruise at warp 7, while achieving just over warp 9, but the real magic was in its power. Its core was located between the 6 fusion reactors that powered the massive impulse drives, which gave the ship a high amount of pushing power. The warp drive could also feed directly into the impulse engines, supplementing the already incredible oomph of the vessel. This is a technical measurement, by the way, an oomph. It was rather well armed too, with 3 saucer-mounted phaser arrays, 2 on the pylons and 1 on the underside for a total of 6. It has 6 torpedo launchers, I think. 2 fore and 2 or 4 aft. They had a unique feature, that being a seldom seen off-axis torpedo launcher, which deployed torpedoes by launching them perpendicular to the ship before allowing their guidance systems to kick in. Specialty quantum torpedoes were used that were capable of brief warp speed deployment, making for an unexpected punch. In terms of auxiliary craft, the vessel contained 9 to 18 shuttlecraft in its hangar and a complement of ground-based vehicles, although this might be only present on ships expected to work on groundside starbases. Ultimately, the Parliament class feels like it was the backup plan for the Lunar class when it was first conceptualised, in case that class did not perform as well as expected. With that vessel being fantastic, however, the Parliament's path was delayed somewhat, but it was a solid enough design that eventually went to production too, and created a stable workhorse cruiser for the support of Starfleet in the mid-2380s. The line appears to have faded from use by the turn of the 25th century, however. One thing that I notice is that the whole ship seems built to maintain its flat profile, with some extensive utilisation of space. For example, the shuttle bay doors are heavily slanted, and even the nacelle pylons themselves house usable deck space that would only have been a few metres wide. The ship also strikes me as being one thing, an engineering version of a Lunar class, before finding that all these little quirks lent a hand in other roles with it capable of surprising feats. It could probably tow a space station if needed, weather a beating, but was still agile and fast while being a comfortable ride. This means it excels at tackling large-scale engineering operations, while also being capable of a bit of everything else, and it became a prestigious assignment position, akin to a Galaxy class, because you never knew what it would tackle next. Is this Chief O'Brien the Starship? Thanks for watching this breakdown of the Parliament class. It's a very cool starship in my opinion, and it's basically a California class with a budget behind it. I've been Rick, and I'll see you later for another lore breakdown. Until then, thanks again, and goodbye.